It's time for another mock draft review, and this week we're doing a Redraft Superflex PPR mock draft. And before we get started, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, and then while you're at it, go down in our description and get into our Discord. That is where you can get into our drafts so I can review your team. And like always, I will be going over my favorite pick, my least favorite pick, some added notes, and their 2022 ranking. So let's dive right in. In the first spot, we have Julia Jones. And my favorite pick of theirs was DeAndre Hopkins at the 412. My least favorite pick was James Robinson at the 612. There's a legit possibility he doesn't play all year. He got injured really late in the season, and I just don't see any reason for them to rush him back. There is no way you could ever draft him over J.K. Dobbins in any format. Also, this team has top-tier quarterbacks with fantastic wide receivers, but the RB and tight end rooms will hold them back. My 2022 rank for Julia's team is 8th overall. And then in the second spot, we had at Fantasy Nav. My favorite pick of theirs, just got done talking about him, J.K. Dobbins at the 702, an absolute steal. My least favorite pick was Antonio Gibson at the 502. It's not a bad pick. I just am very confident that Leonard Fournette will finish higher in 2022, and this is a redraft format. Also, it's just a very well-rounded team who's got the upside to win it all, and I love the pick of Dalton Schultz. My 2022 rank for at Fantasy Nav's team is 4th overall. In the third slot, we have Swamp Nola. My favorite pick of theirs was Tua Tagovailoa at the 703, as I feel like it does end a little bit of a tier there. My least favorite pick, on the other hand, was Robert Woods at the 903. The Titans are a low passing offense, so I would prefer someone like Juju Smith-Schuster or Michael Gallup, or snag a guy like Malik Willis here. This team has no real weak spot. Some may argue QB, but Winston is shown to be a top 5 option. I know he probably is not going to be that again, but I still do believe that he could very easily finish as a QB1. And Marcus Mariota offers the rushing upside on someone who's your third quarterback on that team. My 2022 rank for Swamp Nola is 1st overall. Then we'll move on to Dame in the 4th slot. My favorite pick of theirs was Travis Etienne at the 609. My least favorite pick was Zeke at the 504. I'm going right back to Leonard Fournette, but also T. Higgins here would have been better values for this pick. Dame's squad has a legit chance to make the playoffs, but there's a lot of question marks surrounding a lot of players, but the upside is absolutely there though. My 2022 ranking for Dame's team is 9th overall. In the 5th slot, we have Jay Few. My favorite pick of theirs was Hollywood Brown at the 705, and my least favorite pick was Damian Harris at the 608. It's crazy to me that someone could draft someone like Damian Harris over Travis Etienne in a PPR format, with Etienne just being the pass catcher, and Damian Harris, I'm not sure he's ever seen more than 3 targets in a game in his whole career. Also, Ramondre Stevenson will likely eat into Harris's workload. I'm pretty out on Harris this season, especially where he's currently valued. Taking Kittle in the 4th after taking Kelsey in the 2nd really limits this team's upside, considering this isn't a tight end premium format where a running back or a wide receiver would have made a huge difference. My 2022 rank for Jay Few's team is 7th overall. And then in the 6th slot, we have Jones Karen. My favorite pick of theirs was TJ Hawkinson at the 807. My least favorite pick was Michael Pittman at the 607. It's not a bad pick at all, but Judy with Russ offers the upside to put this team over the top into a true contending team. If Jones Karen fixes this QB room, man, this team is going to be hard to beat. My 2022 rank for their team is 5th overall. And then in the 7th slot was our guest, Z2. My favorite pick of his was, of course, DeAndre Swift at the 307. My least favorite pick, on the other hand, was another running back, Isaiah Spiller, at the 806. There's a real chance that Spiller falls very far in the NFL draft, which will show how not interested the actual NFL is in him. Give me TJ Hawkinson 100 out of 100 times. I just really do not like this value on Isaiah Spiller, even if it was in Dynasty. Z2 did draft a solid team, but he also drafted a lot of guys that I'm just not in love with when it comes to guys like Isaiah Spiller, Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant. So there is some personal bias there. My 2022 rank for Z2's team is 10th overall. And then in the 8th slot, we have FYF's own Josh. My favorite pick of his was Tom Brady at the 405. My least favorite pick, on the other hand, was Aaron Rodgers at the 205. It's not a bad pick. I'm just not super sure with him being a non-mobile quarterback without his best weapon. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, but for me personally in redraft, I just think the second round is maybe a little too early for him, though, again, it's not a bad pick in the slightest. Also, if Michael Thomas returns even partially what he once was and Malik Willis becomes the QB1, this team will not lose. My 2022 rank for Josh's team is second overall. In the 9th slot, we have Ooga Booga. And my favorite pick of theirs was Breece Hall at the 404. My least favorite pick was Tyreek Hill at the 309. Nothing wrong with the pick, but CeeDee Lamb just would have been a better option here because he got a better quarterback and less target competition. Also, that Pat Freiermuth pickup in the 11th was incredible value. Love that pick. My 2022 rank for Ooga Booga is third overall. And then in the 10th slot, we have 1738. My favorite pick of theirs was Chris Olave at the 1110. My least favorite pick was CEH at the 803. I'd rather have guys like Miles Sanders, Michael Carter, and Kareem Hunt. But at the end of the day, this whole team was auto-drafted, so I feel like we can kind of toss it out. My 2022 rank for 1738 is last place. In the 11th slot, we have Joey's team, another one of your favorites from FYF. And my favorite pick of his was CeeDee Lamb at the 311. My least favorite pick was Mike Gesicki at the 911. With Gronkowski and Freiermuth, aka Friar Tuck, falling to the 11th. This pick just doesn't seem great really looking back on it, especially with Gesicki being the third passing option, maybe even fourth in Miami. It's just not looking good for him. But I do love the late round picks with Michael Gallup as the wide receiver 2 in Dallas, Mac Jones as your QB3 on the squad with a safe floor, and the dart throw of OBJ after his injury and without a team. Again, it's definitely a dart throw. We're not sure when he's going to return, and honestly, if he even returns in 2022, but I really do love it because Odell still offers upside. My 2022 rank for Joey's team is 6th overall. And then in the last spot, the 12th, we have Bro Cal. My favorite pick of theirs was Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 712. I know I've been a hater of St. Brown's for a while, but that's because he was going in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. But at the end of the 7th into the 8th, I love that pick. My least favorite pick was Tyler Lockett at the 601. With Russ gone from Seattle, I'll take the guy whose team he went to in Jerry Jeudy. Also, after 5 rounds and the St. Brown pick in the 7th, I just wasn't a fan of the wide receivers and just the lack of depth on this team. And for that reason, I have BroCal's 2022 rank as 11th overall. I want to thank you all so much for coming out and watching. Reminder, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. And also, don't forget to get in our Discord. If you get in our Discord, you can draft with us, and I can go over your teams and your picks. And I can let you know where you're going right and where you're going wrong. Also, here or here, one of these two places, we are going to have the actual mock draft that we just reviewed. And then under that, we will have a playlist of all the mock drafts and mock draft reviews, so that when the season comes around, you will be one of the best drafters in your leagues. That's a wrap for the mock draft review. Until next time.